Put your back against the wall and just slide down. You already know, car show going down June 7th. Get online right now, get your tickets right now. But for the hustlers, I want y'all to understand you gotta stop making business personal.
Big Meech thought he was making a major power move by teaming up with Rick Ross, but now he's learning the hard way that loyalty in the industry is nothing but an illusion. After turning his back on 50 Cent and siding with Ross, Meech is stepping out of prison only to be met with betrayal at every turn. At first, Rick Ross was showering Meech with love, making big promises, even claiming he'd help him get back on his feet. But the second that deal fell apart, Ross wiped his hands clean and ran straight back to his own world, leaving Meech stranded. Meanwhile, 50 Cent kept it moving like nothing ever happened. "Put your back against the wall and just slide down," he said, making it crystal clear that the game doesn't stop for anyone. And while Ross was busy promoting his car show for June 7th, encouraging fans to grab their tickets, he made one thing clear to real hustlers: never mix business with personal emotions. Now Meech is left standing all alone, betrayed by the man he thought would have his back, realizing that the streets don't operate the way they used to. I never told, never will. Death before the... But hold up, why would Rick Ross turn on Big Meech like that? And is 50 Cent really pulling the strings behind the scenes? Oh, this situation runs deep, and it's about to get messy. They say what goes around comes around, and right now Big Meech is feeling the full weight of that truth. After spending years behind bars, he thought he was about to make a grand comeback. Instead, he's stuck between a rock and a hard place, with no solid allies left in his corner. The man he abandoned, 50 Cent, is thriving off the BMF brand, while the man he ran to, Rick Ross, is acting like they were never even cool. But here's the kicker: while Ross might have played the role of a snake, whispering in Meech's ear to create a wedge between him and 50, he might have unknowingly done 50 Cent the biggest favor ever. Because let's be real, if Meech could flip on 50 that easily after everything he's done to keep his name alive through the BMF series, maybe he was a ticking time bomb just waiting to expose himself. Now, word on the streets is that Meech is scrambling, looking for someone to blame for his legacy concert flopping, and why no one is rushing in to help him get back on his feet. And who's the perfect target? The man who hyped him up, only to leave him hanging: Rick Ross. Ross was out here hyping up the Big Meech concert, pushing fans to get their tickets, acting like it was about to be the biggest event of the year. We 2 days away from the Big Meech concert. Get your tickets right now. Everybody flying to the city for this. It's gonna be huge. But let's be real, Meech wasn't anything more than a pawn in Rick Ross's game. Ross never had real intentions to help Meech. He wanted to humiliate 50 Cent and claim the entire BMF legacy for himself. Look, I do want to do a BMF film because y'all been entertained by a lackluster small budget series. Now it's time to do a big budget film, Ross claimed. But the moment things got complicated, he dipped out, leaving Meech high and dry. And now Meech is out here playing the victim. But let's call it what it is. He played himself. And if there's one thing the streets don't respect, it's a man who jumps sides the second someone waves a little money in front of his face. But just how deep does this betrayal go? And is 50 Cent sitting back, grinning, knowing he just got rid of a snake without even lifting a finger? Word on the street is that 50 Cent might have pulled some strings to make sure Big Meech's Welcome Home concert never happened. Fans were hyped up, expecting a massive event, but just 2 hours before showtime, the Amarant Bank Arena suddenly pulled the plug. No warning, no explanation, just straight up embarrassment.
To throw shade at Caroline Levitt.
Due to unforeseen
She was so angry that Caroline dared to challenge the narrative.
Refunds will be made at
Whoopi
point of
said,
purchase.
"I would
Just
like this
that,
young lady
the
to
whole
do a little
thing
homework
crumbled.
because she
And
said
guess who
something
was sitting
yesterday that
back,
really pissed
watching
me
it all
off."
unfold like he
And
already
then
knew how the story would end? 50 Cent. Big Meech's so-called grand return was dead on arrival. 50 called it from the start, warning everyone it would never happen. And now that he's been proven right, he's doing what he does best, being the pettiest villain in the game. He even posted the canceled concert flyer like it was some kind of trophy, adding a caption that was so slick it might as well have come with a cigar and a gold chain. "I had nothing to do with this. Please stop calling my phone. I sincerely hope you have a nice day today. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm stronger than you think I am." Now, if you believe 50 Cent had nothing to do with this, I got a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn. 50 never denies anything outright. He just makes sure you know he's always 2 steps ahead. Then, just to drive the point home, he hit Instagram again, acting all apologetic. If you bought an outfit and were ready to turn up, I apologize for whoever's responsible. Let's get to that. Come on now. That's straight up villain behavior. But the final nail in the coffin? When a fan straight up accused him of shutting down the concert, 50 reposted it and said, "I apologize for your trip to Miami, but they've been playing with me, so you know. Let's build when y'all get back to the city." At this point, 50 is playing chess while everyone else is struggling to roll the dice. Big Meech is out here scrambling, looking for someone to blame. But the truth is, he did this to himself. Rick Ross hyped him up, 50 Cent wiped his hands clean, and now Meech is standing all alone with no legacy concert, no friends, and no one left to clean up his mess. And here's the worst part. He's not just losing support from 50 Cent, but from his own family. Big Meech is out, sure. But 50, he's done. No more support, no more loyalty, and definitely no more backing for Meech's family. And let's not forget, the main breadwinner of the family, Lil Meech, just lost his job. Lil Meech tried to play the loyalty card, hoping it would save the concert, but that strategy flopped. Season 4 of BMF, canceled. And it's not hard to see why. 50 Cent recently posted Lil Meech's private text messages, and they have become the center of attention. In these messages, Lil Meech is practically begging for 50's approval, claiming he would give him the shirt off his back while simultaneously defending his father's connection to Rick Ross. But the most shocking part? Lil Meech admitted that Rick Ross gave Big Meech money to cover his bills. "They just told me you unfollowed me on Instagram. Now you managing Skillababy with Rocket when I brought him around you first, when you didn't have a clue who he was. Now you mad at me when I would take the shirt off my back for you. I can't believe this, man. You act like I'm your enemy. I've only ever shown you love and loyalty. I go through my own expletive, but I never switched up on you. F. Ross. But he gave my dad some bread so he can afford to pay his bills until our next season starts." Wait a minute. Big Meech didn't just align himself with 50 Cent's biggest enemy. He's financially dependent on Rick Ross. This means Ross is pulling the strings behind the scenes, using his money to wedge a bigger gap between Big Meech and 50. And the game had something to say about it too. He called out Lil Meech for not standing firmly with his father, basically saying he should have been ride or die for the BMF legacy. Just seen a text from Lil Meech to 50 that got me dying. "Hey Lil Meech, you were supposed to be like F this BMF, and I'm standing with my pops. Now me and Fifth got our own issues, but that's on pause while I post this." Then 50 Cent jumped in and said, "What's your little egg gonna do?" Bruh. 50 is not letting up. Big Meech is watching his whole empire crumble, and 50 Cent doesn't even have to lift a finger. The situation has gone beyond just snitching rumors. Big Meech is looking more like a pawn in his own legacy, with Rick Ross calling the shots, and 50 Cent just sitting back, letting it all play out. And let's not forget, everybody saw the concert failing long before it happened. The only people who didn't? Big Meech and Lil Meech. Lil Meech, the one person expected to uphold the BMF legacy, is now turning against the man who gave him a career, a platform, and a lifeline while his father was behind bars. Instead of standing strong, he's caught in the middle of a mess that could have been completely avoided. Meanwhile, 50 Cent is holding nothing back. He's now taking direct shots at Big Meech as a father, calling him out for how he handled Lil Meech's future. Recently, an old social media post resurfaced, showing footage of Lil Meech with Rick Ross's daughter, Toy Roberts. This situation goes back years, and 50 Cent wasted no time
Whoopi's
adding
latest
his
move
thoughts. He openly
to
questioned
throw
why
shade
Rick
at
Ross,
Caroline
who is
Levitt.
suddenly Big
She was
Meech's
so
best
angry
friend,
that Caroline
never stepped
dared
in
to
help
challenge
Lil
the
Meech's
narrative.
career when it
Whoopi
actually
said,
mattered. 50
"I would like
pointed
this
out
young
that
lady to do a
Ross
little
and everyone
homework because
around
she
Big
said
Meech
something
did
yesterday that
nothing
really
for Lil
pissed me
Meech's
off."
future, while he
And
was the
then
one who paid
the
for acting school and gave him a shot in the industry. Then 50 called out Big Meech's priorities, saying that instead of making sure his son was set up for success, he came home acting like the Black Pablo Escobar and ruined everything for him. This situation has gone way beyond just a rap feud. This is full-blown betrayal. Big Meech had 50 Cent's support, but he made a choice that pushed him into isolation. Now, the damage is done, and trust, 50 Cent is not the type to forget. The feud between Big Meech and 50 Cent has turned into something way bigger than just a simple fallout. It's now a full-scale betrayal, and Rick Ross is right in the middle of it. But let's not forget, this beef between Ross and 50 isn't new. This goes all the way back to 2008, when the two were going at each other with diss tracks, lawsuits, and straight-up disrespect. And let's not act like that infamous lawsuit that cost 50 a cool $7 million didn't add fuel to the fire. Last year, Rick Ross even took another jab, calling 50 broke. But if there's one thing history has proven, 50 Cent never lets things slide. And guess what? Neither does Gene Deal. Gene, a former bodyguard for Diddy, couldn't believe what he was hearing about Big Meech. I can't believe a stand-up dude during his time would suddenly say, I don't want to be here no more, I'm gonna become a rat. Oh yeah, this drama is deeper than just music. It's putting 50 Cent's entire business at risk. Now there are whispers that this might be the final season of BMF, a show tied directly to 50's $150 million deal with Stars. Walking away from that money, that would hurt most people. But 50, he plays the long game. If he built it once, he'll do it again. Because one thing about 50, if you cross him, there's no turning back. And here's where the story gets really messy. 50 Cent didn't just pull the snitch allegations out of thin air. Oh no! Rumors about Big Meech cutting a deal with the feds have been floating around for a while, long before 50 even mentioned it. And at the center of it all, Tammy Cowens. She wasn't just a close friend of Meech. No, Tammy was known as a federal informant. And guess what? She allegedly played a key role in helping Meech negotiate the deal that shaved years off his prison sentence. Now, let's be real. Meech wasn't walking out of prison early without giving the feds something major in return. And that something? It was his longtime friend and business partner, Dion Gatling, better known as Cuffy. This is where things get real ugly. Cuffy and Meech had been tight for years. They ran business together long before Meech got locked up. But according to Cuffy's daughter, Tamara Gatling, their entire family was blindsided when they found out Meech was the one who set Cuffy up. In 2011, around that time, Meech reached out to my dad about creating a BMF movie. At first, nobody saw the setup coming, but as the legal documents started rolling in, they started piecing it together. And guess whose name kept popping up in the paperwork? Big Meech. But wait, it gets even messier. To make it look legit, Meech personally introduced Cuffy to Tammy Cowens. And Tammy? She wasn't just some random associate. She was Meech's power of attorney, and literally owned the rights to his life story at the time. Cuffy, trusting his old friend, thought this was a real business opportunity. Instead, he walked straight into a setup, and the next thing he knew, he was behind bars. And once the discovery documents started rolling in, it became clear the confidential informant working with the feds was none other than Tammy Cowens. But here's the thing, everyone knew Tammy wasn't making moves without Meech's blessing. When the Gatling family confronted Meech about the situation, he brushed them off like it was just a misunderstanding. But the more they dug, the more the truth started coming out. Tammy might have been the one wearing the wire, but let's not act like Meech didn't know exactly what was going down. In the end, Cuffy took the fall, while Meech walked free. All that talk about brotherhood went right out the window when the feds came knocking. And even with all the evidence laid out, some people are still out here bending over backwards to defend Big Meech. And right on cue, Young Buck jumps into the conversation, desperately trying to cape for Meech. Playing with dude? Quit playing with dude. You know I'm gonna say that much. Over and out. I'll catch y'all when I catch y'all. What does that even mean? Buck sounded nervous as hell. And you already know 50 Cent wasted no time roasting him. 50's response? Ruthless. He went straight for the jugular, clowning Young Buck for his past controversies and completely tearing him apart. This fool fell out with me because he liked boys. I didn't tell him to go loving on a censored, but he couldn't resist. Bruh. 50 Cent does not hold back. And now the haters are out in full force, accusing 50 of being a culture vulture and stirring up drama just to sabotage promotions. But let's be real, who's actually benefiting from all this mess? The BMF brand isn't just about 50 Cent, it's about Big Meech, right? That's his story, his life. So why are people acting like 50 owes him something? Both sides have made serious money off the BMF name. Big Meech's story turned into a whole TV series, introducing his legacy to an entirely new generation. Meanwhile,
to throw shade
Lil
at
Meech
Caroline
landed a
Levitt.
career that wouldn't
She was
even
so
exist
angry
without
that
50's
Caroline
backing.
dared to challenge
Yet
the narrative.
somehow, 50 is the
Whoopi
one
said,
catching heat
I would like
for
this young lady to
exposing
do a
the
little
truth.
homework because
That
she
don't
said
mean
something
I owe
yesterday
you
that
no
really pissed me
loyalty.
off.
That don't mean
And
I
then,
can't go get money elsewhere. If a bigger bag gets presented to me, I'm gonna go get it. Big Meech sat in prison for 20 years. Why would he expect people to stay loyal forever? At the core of this whole mess, it's not about clout or promotions, it's about loyalty. And if there's one thing everybody knows about 50 Cent, he does not tolerate betrayal. He stood by the BMF family, put Lil Meech in position to win, and helped him become something more than just his father's son. But the moment it became convenient, they switched sides. And now, 50 is making it crystal clear there's no coming back from that. And believe it or not, Lil Meech is already realizing just how badly he fumbled the bag. After everything 50 Cent did for him, paying for acting school, putting him on TV, giving him a career, Lil Meech still flipped sides. Now, he's paying the price. How bad is it? The same Lil Meech who was living the Hollywood dream on the BMF set is now out here begging for paid promotions for $500. Bruh. That's not even rent money. 1 minute, he's starring in a hit TV show. The next, he's scrambling for side hustles just to make ends meet. And you already know 50 Cent is having the last laugh. At this point, Lil Meech is feeling the full weight of his decisions. One moment, he was living like a Hollywood star, riding the BMF wave with 50 Cent backing him. And now, he's out here hustling for promo money like a struggling influencer. Let's put this in perspective. He went from TV star to offering $500 promo deals. That's pocket change compared to the fat checks 50 was cutting him. And let's not act like 50 Cent isn't watching this whole downfall and laughing his way to the bank. Because while Big Meech's empire is crumbling, 50 is still thriving, still controlling the game, and still making major money moves. Now, here's where things start getting real messy. Rick Ross, the same man Big Meech turned to, is now cozying up to 50 Cent. Yeah, you heard that right. The same guy who played Meech like a pawn is now acting real friendly with the very man Meech betrayed. That should tell you everything you need to know about loyalty in this industry. Rick Ross got what he wanted out of Meech, then dipped, just like that. And now Meech is left with nothing. No legacy concert, no friends, no support from 50, and definitely no one cleaning up his mess. It's
she was so angry that Caroline dared to challenge the narrative.
When he chose to side with Ross over 50,
I would like this young lady to do a little homework because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off.
But let's not forget the biggest betrayal of all. Lil Meech turning his back on 50 Cent. Think about it. 50 put this kid on. He paid for his acting school, gave him a career, and made him the face of a hit TV show. And how does Lil Meech repay him? By flipping sides and aligning with his father's biggest enemy. And trust, 50 Cent doesn't forget. He's calling it exactly how it is. Lil Meech fumbled the bag. And let's be real, this was avoidable. If Lil Meech had stayed loyal to the man who built him up, he'd still be sitting on top. Instead, he's watching it all crash down. Now, the industry is looking at Big Meech sideways, wondering how he could be so reckless with his own legacy. And while the BMF brand is falling apart, 50 Cent, he's sitting back, watching it all unfold, just like he planned. So, what do y'all think? Did Big Meech do this to himself? Did 50 Cent just prove he's always 2 steps ahead? Or is this just another example of the industry showing its true colors? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for all the latest drama.